Broadcasting live every Monday night at 9 p.m. in St. Louis with your host, CJ, Funny Man Sam, and your best friend, Tyrese. This is Mayhem Mondays podcast on Going Dutch Radio Network.
Guys, welcome back to another Mayhem Mondays podcast, the #1 podcast in St. Louis, right here on Going Dutch Radio Network. I am your host, CJ.
How you doing? I'm Sam.
Oh, hi, Sam.
Hey.
Don't worry about who I am. I don't like you. Don't talk to me. No, I'm Tyrese. Nice to meet you.
And we also have St. Louis's sweetheart, the beautiful Amanda Stewart, a.k.a. Stewie. Welcome back, Amanda. What's going on?
Hello. I still hate Sam.
Yeah, you do.
Don't we all?
I'm going to hate him even more later.
We're going to be smashing some eggs on each other's heads.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
don't
that
tell me
sounds
about your
so
night. We
bad.
don't want to hear about that shit.
So bad.
Keep it in the bedroom, guys. Come on.
Awkward.
We're professionals here.
So we have a pretty big night tonight. I mean, it's gonna be huge.
It's stacked. It is stacked.
Stacked.
What's going on? I didn't read the.
Okay, so
I didn't read the shit.
here are the list of the topics tonight. We have an interview with St. Louis crime historian, author Daniel Wait, what? We're also gonna be debunking political correctness. What's the deal with Apu being kicked off of The Simpsons? We're gonna bring that up. Political correctness. Pretty excited.
Fucking social justice,
Racist, man.
Lastly, we're gonna be doing the Sam versus Stewie challenge. Okay, so every single week, we're going to try to do this every fucking week. We're going to be doing a Sam versus Stewie challenge. Now, this is the first round. This is the first week we're ever doing this. It's going to be the Russian egg roulette challenge. Okay? Does anybody want to explain what that's going to entail?
Egg yolks and my long-ass hair. Thanks.
It seems like she's already admitting defeat right now.
Let's wait.
No.
Let's keep the people interested. We'll tell them.
We're going to be breaking eggs on each other's
Pretty much it's going to
God damn it, Sam.
Stick around for the end. It's funny.
Okay.
be it's going to be a good show. There's going to be a lot of egg, a lot of yolk everywhere.
Is that the Donald Trump voice?
Oh no.
Oh, okay. That's the wrong voice. I get your voice confused.
I almost sounded like that one guy from The Simpsons. I don't know what the fuck that was, but anyways. But guys, first thing I want to talk about
Comic book
is
guy.
we're not really into sports, except for Stewie's pretty heavily into sports. Stewie,
Yes.
who's going to the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
The Rams and the Patriots.
The Rams and the Patriots.
Both the teams I did not want to go.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people not watching the Super Bowl because of that, though. The Rams and the
Bullshit.
Patriots.
Really?
St. Louis will
Why?
watch.
No.
St. Louis
Because
will
they
watch.
didn't want
Okay.
the Rams to go, and then like the Patriots,
Right.
like everybody.
They always go.
hates
But
Listen.
St. Louis wanted the
Patriots,
Chiefs to go.
Half of St. Louis fucking hates the Patriots. The other half hates the Rams for going. They will watch out of hate.
I think I
Yes.
was just thinking about this. The true Rams fans didn't want Rams going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because
the St. Louis Rams
the
fans
Saint-
didn't want the LA Rams to go
Yeah,
to the Super Bowl.
exactly. Yeah, so
Yeah, that's like finding out your fucking ex is like dating a fucking supermodel or something. You're like, motherfucker, fuck you.
I would
hope
date-
she
I
think it
dies.
was.
I would date Tom Brady.
Dude, I would too.
That man makes magic happen on the field. He makes miracles happen.
Dude, and off the field.
And that in the fourth quarter, in a minute and a half, they had 2 minutes left. In less than, I think, a minute and a half, they scored.
Yeah.
And they were like, there's no quarterback that could do that in history except for Tom Brady.
I could do it.
Okay, so I'll be honest.
Sam has a hard on for
I just
Brady.
choose not to.
I did not see the Rams game, but I did watch the entirety of the Patriots. And so how was the Rams game? I heard there was a lot of fucked up
Saints,
calls.
yes.
So I
Well,
don't
there
know,
was
man.
no
What the fuck?
call when there should have been a call for the Saints. There was one. It was pass interference, and I forget on who. Maybe somebody on the comments can.
No, I think it was one call,
chill
and forgive me if I get this wrong. I think it was like roughing the I don't know.
Roughing the
No, not the
passer,
passer.
no.
It was just the receiver or the catcher or something like
Yeah,
that.
pass interference.
Where the Rams player just hit this guy that was trying to catch the ball before even the ball touched him or anything like that.
and
So I'm
no-
like,
and
I feel like I'm
nobody-
revealing my ignorance about football right now.
Yeah, no, it was fucked up. The Saints were pissed. Just because not a lot of calls are being made on the Rams, but I mean both are great teams.
Yeah, I'm
to
glad
be,
the Rams.
to be for
I'm
the
glad the Rams.
I think it's collectively nobody wanted the Patriots to go again, right? But
Nope.
I feel like the
I did.
Rams.
I did.
Nope.
Here's the thing: the Rams.
did.
The Rams had to prove themselves. Like, okay, we moved. We got to prove ourselves. Otherwise, we're just the St. Louis Rams again in fucking Los Angeles.
No,
You know
what
I mean?
happened? No, what happened is apparently the owner purposely made St. Louis Rams suck in St. Louis,
Ooh.
and this is why true Rams fans in St. Louis hate the Rams now because he picked teams that fucking people that sucks, so he can move, and then it's really apparent now, and I really hope that they win because it shows that hey, the Rams could have been good. He purposely made them bad so you can move to L.A. Once they got into L.A.,
Move them back to LA.
Okay, whatever.
That is true.
Move
And
them back.
within 3 years, they go to the Super Bowl. Come on.
So we got a few comments from the chat. We have Uncle Scott said Saints got screwed.
Yep.
Yep.
Agree.
Noel said whose house? Rams house.
Nope.
Judy says
Thanks,
who
Noel.
cares? Bunch of crybabies. NCAA time.
What's NCAA? I'm joking.
Oh my God!
Go
you
ahead.
really,
I
you
was
really
about
aren't
to
in this story.
throw a book at you.
And then Aunt Tina
That wouldn't
says,
be the first time.
It's
Aunt Tina
basketball,
says
by
she's
the
from
way,
New
CJ.
England. Go Patriots.
Yeah,
So
no problem.
Aunt Tina just got a lot hotter, in my opinion.
What did she give you a full frontal or what?
No, she just said she's a Patriots
It's only
fan.
because
Oh,
she's
okay.
upset that her Seahawks didn't make it again.
And then Danny said conspiracy.
Bandwagon, love you, Auntie.
He goes, conspiracy theory. Do you think the NFL planned for these two teams to end in the playoffs, LA demographic and Boston demographics together? I think that's a stretch. No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
No. Give me a fucking break.
No. Did you guys know that when some people wear a cross around their neck, it's not really for Jesus, it's a lowercase t for Tom Brady?
I feel like I just heard this like 5 minutes ago. That's so weird.
I didn't know that.
Deja vu.
Jesus.
Deja
Well,
vu.
hey, anyway,
Fucking ridiculous, man.
go Patriots. That's all I
Somebody's
gotta say.
hard for Tom
You know,
Brady.
here's the
Oh,
thing.
he's a beautiful man.
Seriously.
Look, if Jesus is the son of God, Tom Brady has got to be the guy's nephew.
How old is he getting? He's old, and
He's
old ass
old.
shit.
Yeah. Well, and see, the whole thing was everybody wrote him off this season. Like he's
he's
old. He's
old.
not going to do it. And look where he is now.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is the greatest of all time. And anybody that says that he's not is bullshitting, or they just don't want to admit it.
They just don't get football.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't want the Patriots to win because it's the Patriots. Now, I don't really want the Rams win either, but if I had to pick between the two, I'm going to go fucking Rams. Who do I honestly think is going to win? I think it's the fucking Rams. They fucking killed it this fucking season, dude. They killed it. What do you think? Picks. Let's do it for next Monday. We can talk about it. I think the Rams are going to win Super Bowl. How about you, Sam?
Patriots.
Okay.
I'll go Rams only because I'm not a huge fan of them, but they have showed a lot more confidence this year than they have in
So
the past.
you like confidence in a team and a man.
Well, obviously. Well,
I don't know who's gonna win or
They
lose,
know what they want.
but I hope the Rams win. I'm rooting for the Rams. That's all I can say.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it a lot.
I feel left out.
that guy-
On that note, don't forget, guys, once again, we're doing the Russian Egg Roulette Challenge with Stam versus Stewie tonight. It's going to be last, so you better tune in. Don't tune out. Okay?
How's that Bush Light treating you, Sam?
I love it. I love it.
Are you starting to love Bush Light now? Would you buy it?
I never
Would
not
you buy
liked
it?
it.
Would
I
you
never
buy it
not
in the
liked
store?
it. Listen, like you know this when we were in college, freaking any beer it's beer. It's free
No,
beer.
that's
You know
not
what
true.
I'm saying?
That's not true at all.
Yeah,
Any
I know.
beer is
If I wanted a beer in college, and somebody was like, "Hey, I have Keystone," I'm just gonna be like, "Okay."
How about beer 30? You ever had beer 30?
I don't think I have.
That was a real beer that they sold at Walmart for like 4 years. Yeah.
Was it nasty? What's going on? Did it taste like water?
Like maybe a flow trip. That's about it.
Probably tastes same thing like Busch Light.
Speaking of beer, did you know that back in the early 20th century, when Anheuser-Busch and Lemp Brewery were going at each other, they would actually pay off gangs to go and rough up saloons
Really?
that like were selling the other person's product?
Nope.
You know how I found that out? you know how I found that
I
out?
got
Wait,
this.
what year was this?
This is back in the during Prohibition.
Here comes
before
the books,
Prohibition.
people.
He's got
How I
books.
found out was
Still saloons.
these
Back
two
then?
books right here, Egan's Rats and Gangs of St. Louis, Men of Respect, by the St. Louis crime historian and author Daniel Waugh.
Daniel.
Waugh.
Now I have a question. Gangs of St. Louis, the book right there. I can
Yep.
pretty much guess what that book is about.
It was like the Gangs of New York, but just a little bit smaller.
Well,
dude.
no, so Gangs.
what about the Egan's Rats?
So
what's going on in there?
So Egan's Rats is one of the gangs of St. Louis. It's just it was a gang.
Wait,
that
the
was
gang was named Rats.
Egan's Rats. Yeah.
a horrible
And like
name
rats,
for a
like
gang.
a gutter, like not like snitches get stitches type shit. It was more like a
They
rats
called
like from the
themselves-
gutter, like poor guys and everything. You're the
Hey,
rats.
Wait,
I'm just-
are they still like active? Are they still like a thing?
No, but some
Well,
of
that's
these
a
some of
stupid
these
name. That
gangs
name's
some of
dumb.
these gangs like
Supposedly.
went into like the war in the 80s and shit like that, which is another book probably. that-
Okay, so what?
But
we're,
yeah, we're gonna interview.
So
this
what?
author.
Where are these books based out of? You said St. Louis, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and we are going to be calling the author of these books, correct?
Calling the author. Yeah, just a little background. So, back in 2010, CQ Press named St. Louis America's most dangerous city.
What
Wait,
year?
wait,
what
this
year
is
was
what?
this?
I think 2010. That was when it was officially named, and that's when we got back on top. But I
Dude,
think
we need
that-
to be #1 every year.
Yeah, didn't you get like a little proud of yourself though? It was like,
yeah,
hey,
man.
It
we're
was one of
number
those.
or
It was one of
something.
those things
Like,
where it was just. It's just hard to like. Yeah.
I grew up in what's
Yeah,
up?
dude. Dude, I always felt
St.
like I was
Louis.
soft, but like.
But
now
see,
I
it's
feel
the
hard.
city. It's the city. So,
Still
St.
counts.
Louis City, and then so like we were in the county. So the same year, 2010, that St. Louis was named the most dangerous city. CJ knows this. CJ and I grew up in Crestwood.
Yeah,
Crestwood got
hardship.
voted the best place in America to raise a child. so literally not
is
even
not true.
even 10 minutes away. Freaking Crestwood and St. Louis City. One gets named the most dangerous place in America. The other one
Yeah,
gets named
you
the
say
safest
that.
place in
Have you not
America.
seen the giant Crestwood mound for the past like 10 years? That
Oh,
was
this
there?
is back in 10. This is back
Come
in
on.
2000.
We also got voted the best
Yeah.
water too, in
We
one of those
do.
years. We
Yeah.
had like the best water here.
We had the
so.
best zoo, the best water, the best crime, or the
Yeah.
or the worst, depending upon how you want to phrase it.
And,
You know what I mean? It's fucking
but
great.
Everybody said that, like,
America's
you
number
know, some people say that like St. Louis has seen better days and shit like that, but that's not always been the case, and you can kind of look at it from these two books.
Okay.
So crime historian and author Daniel Waugh has written these two books.
Wait, Waugh?
Waugh.
Wait,
Ooh,
Waugh?
damn. What is it good for?
Was he
So-
born
No.
and raised in
Nothing.
St. Louis?
But
Born and raised in St. Louis.
I don't know. That's what we're gonna find out tonight. Right now, he lives in Detroit, but he spent a lot of time here. Anyway, he wrote Gangs of St. Louis and Egan's Rats, and these books document famous bank robberies, tales of bootlegging, and a mob war that claimed almost 100 lives.
And this is in St. Louis.
St. Louis.
In
back
what year, roughly?
Back in the 1920s and 1930s.
So how
Yeah.
many families, like gang families, were there?
There were 6 gangs, and then one of them splintered off. So there was about 7 gangs altogether.
Okay.
And I mean,
One of
it's-
them was named the Canzaros, I'm guessing.
No, but it was like one of these. They were just all killing each other. It wasn't like, hey, this gang ran this area, this gang ran that area. They were all killing one another, and it was blood feuds and vendettas, and it got so bad that you know, you guys know Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital was
Yeah.
named after Archbishop Glennon back then. Archbishop Glennon said
Probably
that the
crooked as
Catholic
fuck.
Church cannot give last rites to any gangster that was killed.
So you can't go and have
because
it. Yeah.
because they were just killing so many people. So I think almost 100 gangs or not 100 gangs, 100 gangsters, mobsters were killed during this war, and it's something that people don't really know about. And shaped this. It shaped the city.
No,
it was crazy.
Until I got you, the Sicilian, to really shine the light on this. We respect you for that, and we're gonna make this a thing. Okay?
But these stories rival anybody from Chicago, Al Capone era. New York, it's crazy, but they're so less known.
Speaking of, you know what else is crazy?
What is that?
The fact that we are live right now, people, on Facebook, YouTube, Pornhub,
I thought you was going
and
to say something
iTunes.
Crazy.
I know, guys. Please hold your calls until after at least 9:30. But please comment right now. We'll give you some shout outs. Sam is on Facebook looking at your comments. Please call in after 9:30 or 9:35 roughly. 636-926-6945.
69.
So,
hey, Sam.
Yeah.
Name off a few games. So we got the Rats.
Yes, let me
give me some names right here. I wanna hear the names.
So
we have the Green Hats.
They're on the back of the.
We had the Bloods, the Crips.
Well, no, there's a whole page in here. Hold on. So there's the green ones,
the Eagles.
There's the Russo gang.
Oh.
There is the Pillow gang.
Ooh, I like
that's
pillows.
nice.
Yeah,
that's nice. That's
there is
friendly.
the Cuckoo gang.
Nice.
There's the Hogan gang. There's Egan's Rats, and there's the Shelton gang.
Out of all those, I think Pillow Gang is where I'm gonna
right.
put my hat.
Pillow gang was named after I think either Pasquale something or Charlie something.
Hey, Charlie.
Who got shot in the ass and had to sit on a pillow then. For the rest of his days.
Was he the
boss?
gang?
Yeah, he was the boss, and he got shot in the ass and had to sit on a pillow. For the rest of his days. I mean, they're just cool stories. But so anytime
Maybe
that
he's got fucking hemorrhoids, dude.
anytime that he showed up to a meeting, he'd have a pillow that he sat on, and they just named the gang after him.
Amanda, if you were to name a gang, what would your name be?
You should already know at this point.
Don't say Amanda name. Don't say
No,
you
it's
can't have
Stewie,
your name.
Obviously,
The
Stewie.
Stewie gang. The Stewies.
Yes.
The Stews.
Actually, I'd
kinda
be like the little gang or something like that.
The little gang.
Because I'm like a spider fucking monkey, but I'm also small, so
The
you're
spi-
not expecting
The spider Stewies.
That's
The
scary
Stewie
as fuck.
monkeys.
The Stewie
Right.
spiders.
The Stewie spiders.
The Stewie spiders.
I
The
would just
SS
show
gang.
up out of
SS.
nowhere like,
Sam,
rah.
gang name.
What would my gang name
What would
be?
your gang name be?
I'd be like.
I think it's a gay name. I'm like, it's probably Sam.
Sam.
My name's Sam.
I would name my
I like,
gang.
I like
I would
sucking
name
dick
my
with my
gang-
sunglasses on and get cum shot on my
My
sunglasses.
God, that's
Stop.
vulgar. I would name my
Sorry.
gang them.
That's kind of scary.
Them. It's just. I mean, think about it.
Wait, as your
Who's
gay name
here?
or your
As
gang
my,
name?
My gang name. Who's here? Who's here? Them.
I got killed by them. It's so ominous. It's
I
like,
got killed by them.
them.
Yeah, that'd be my
I
gang
feel like
name.
that would just
That's a
raise a lot
good
of
one. I
questions.
like
Who's
that.
them?
Yeah.
You put some thought into that one.
Uncle Scott said Little Rascals. Tina said Pillow Fighters. LOL. So, yeah, but we're actually going to call Daniel right now and have a quick interview and give him a shout out.
So we're going to be talking to the author.
Oh, yeah,
of
we're going to be
these
talking to
two
him right
books.
now.
Pass me the book. I want to get some information going on here before we have this interview.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Well, hopefully. What if he was a bad guy? That'd be kind of fucking weird.
That suck, man.
That would be awkward. All right, guys, we're calling the authors of the St. Louis Gang book.
Hello?
Daniel?
Hey, how you doing, Sam?
Hey, what's up, Daniel? You're live. Going Dutch Radio Network.
Yeah, I'm watching you right now on the
Oh, good.
Hi.
Good.
Hey, how's it going, Daniel?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
All right, so Dan, I gotta ask. It said on Egan's Rats cover, you put a gunman was always welcome anywhere if he arrived from the battlefields of St. Louis.
Actually,
Yeah, go on.
Actually, that was a quote from the man who really got me involved in the true crime business back in the day by the name of William J. Helmer. He lives down in Texas, and he's wrote a number of books about John Dillinger and such. He's been on documentaries. In fact, he did his master's thesis at the University of Texas about the Thompson submachine gun. Basically,
wow.
what it boils down to is that guys that came out of Egan's Rats after they got dissolved in 1924, they spread around all over the country, to the East Coast and the Midwest and the South, doing all kinds of violent mayhem. In fact, there was some member of Egan's Rats that did the St. Valentine's Day Massacre up in Chicago in 1920.
Oh, damn.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
They came from St. Louis. I mean, St. Louis was a real war zone. I mean, we're talking 7 main criminal gangs. I mean, what was it like?
Yeah, there were a whole bunch of different guys trying to get a piece of the criminal pie. I mean, Prohibition essentially turned all these garden variety street gangs into CEOs. Mm-hmm. I mean, it'd be the same nowadays if they tried to outlaw like cigarettes or something like that. They're trying to provide a service to the public that, you know, they want. Yeah, there were different factions of the mafia that were shooting at each other. Yeah, the city of St. Louis back in the 20s and 30s was an extraordinarily violent place. And there's another thing too. The city of St. Louis in the early 1920s was pretty much the bank robbery capital of America.
Daniel,
I didn't know that.
This is Tyrese. Hey, what made St. Louis just so big? You know, you had Chicago, you had New York. Why were the gangs just fighting over St. Louis, this just little piece right in the middle of the United States? Like, why was it such a big deal to be just the head boss in St. Louis?
Basically because they were all criminals and they were all chasing after the same amount of the same dime, you know, the rackets, the booze business. There was a lot of personal enmity involved, and there was also a lot of it was all monetarily. You know, you knock off your rivals, you inherit his territory, and you can push booze or narcotics or gambling there, and you can make more money for yourself.
That's
the
crazy.
Eagles Rats got their start originally as a street gang in the old Irish Kerry Patch neighborhood, which was located in the 1890s, right around where Lumiere Place Casino is nowadays. Oh, snap. And then they eventually branched out, and they became like a very violent political club in the Third Ward. And for the record, they hated the name Egan's Rats. I heard you talking about that earlier. They thought it was full of shit. In fact, their leader, Tom Egan, gave a newspaper interview in 1912, and he specifically said that he objected to that, and anybody who came around his saloon and called him that would get, quote unquote, their block knocked off.
So they didn't even like the name Egan's Rats.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I'm saying they didn't even like that name Egan's Rats, right?
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, they hated it.
Yeah, all right.
So real quick, right now we're talking live with Daniel Waugh. Daniel Waugh, is that correct? Waugh.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm saying it right. I don't want to pronounce it wrong. So Daniel Waugh is a St. Louis historian who has been writing at least a couple of books that I am aware of the history of St. Louis gangs in St. Louis back in the 20s and 30s. So right now we're talking to him, and I tell you what, it's pretty fucking interesting if you really think about it. Everybody thinks like, oh, there might have been a little bit of gang crime, whatever, maybe a little here and there. I mean, there was like this whole organization. It's all these gangs, and it was just anarchy. You know what I mean?
It really was.
Crazy.
I mean, when you talk about like New York and the Five Families, and then Chicago with Al Capone, St. Louis, it was just total chaos. And it's funny because most of these places that you mentioned in these books, you know, like you said, the Kerry Patch neighborhood or the old Shoto neighborhood or Little Italy on the North Front, most of these areas are virtually gone. There's no remnants of them.
Yeah, like especially in like North City where like the Egan gang was and the Hogan gang. A lot of those landmarks are gone now. In fact, I lived in St. Louis a total of 12 years, and if I remember correctly, there weren't a whole lot of buildings remaining in the city that pertain to what I wrote about.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, you write
That
about
was my question.
You write about Eskridge High School or Wellston High School, where Mike Longo and that's where Tyrese went to high school.
Wellston.
Where Mike Longo and Jimmy Russo were gunned down, and you said that the lot that they got gunned down in is the actual the actual front lawn of the high school now.
Yep.
So
I remember. Yeah, it's right by the MetroLink stop too. I mean, the one and only time that I rode the MetroLink when I was in town was just to ride that out and just walk out there. It's really close.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that was a significant murder because that was towards the end of this all, and that was them getting gunned down was significant. Nobody knows that took place.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, that's the one stab that I took about writing an actual screenplay for a movie was based around the story of Jimmy Russo trying to avenge the murder of his brother Shorty, which culminated in that shooting in what's now Wellston by Eskridge High School. But unfortunately, writing fiction and especially a screenplay is a hell of a lot different than writing true crime. And
right.
My end result was pretty bad. I mean, like fucking Ishtar bad. So I scratched it.
real quick, Daniel, let me ask you this. So when did this gang, when all this gang fighting, when did it stop? What year did it start, and what year did it really end in St. Louis?
Basically, depending on who was involved, gangland warfare went in spurts. The Egan's Rats had a feud with a gang called the Bottoms Gang. They were from around 22nd Street, a little bit west of Union Station.
Jeez.
And their big thing was that they made a point of going out of their way to beat cops.
Damn.
Oh my God, damn.
So they got heat from not only their gang rivals, the Egan Gang, but also from the police as well. So needless to say, they didn't let. Yeah, the Bottoms Gang was pretty fucking crazy. A lot of them were tuned up on cocaine half the time, and they didn't last very long in the underworld.
I like cocaine.
I mean, these guys blew. I mean, you're right about significant events like the submarine bar shooting, the rise of Horseshoe, Jimmy Michaels, politicians getting killed. I mean, these guys literally were trying to control everything, and they didn't care who got it.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of times innocent bystanders got involved. I mean, a lot of times you'll see shit on the internet, with a picture of old school gangsters in suits with some bullshit meme talking about, oh, these are real gangsters. Excuse me, the motherfuckers will kill women and children if they have to. I mean, those guys were ruthless. They didn't care who got in the way.
Jesus,
that's crazy.
That is crazy.
I love it how towards the end of the book, towards your epilogue, you talked about how all these places have mostly disappeared, of how they were, but all these gangsters are still around. And you were walking through the cemeteries in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And some of them, there's a police captain that hunted them all down. He's buried next to a mob boss. And there's, rival gangs buried all by each other. So there's still, here in the city, just the way that you wrote about it was just very poetic. How they're still here.
Well, I tell you what, Daniel, we still got a few more minutes with you. I got a couple comments and questions from the viewers who are watching live right now.
Sure.
Do you want to go first?
Absolutely.
No, let the viewers go first.
Okay.
And then I have my question.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Aunt Tina asked, hold on, let's see. Did moonshine have something to do with it? So, was moonshine involved in St. Louis at all whatsoever during these gangs of St. Louis back in the day?
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that?
Was moonshine? Did that have any play in St. Louis in this gang warfare?
Oh, absolutely. Moonshine was one of the primary commodities of hard liquor that was sold in the St. Louis area during Prohibition, specifically because they would put stills up both in St. Louis and St. Louis County and across the river in St. Clair and Madison counties. And that was a good way to make drinkable liquor for the customer. And a lot of times the quality would be kind of poor, but other times it would be decent. But one of the gangs in St. Louis, the Green Ones, or the Greenies as they were called, they made a connection with the Capone mob up in Chicago. And they were able to bring in genuine liquor that was trucked down from Chicago Heights. And of course, naturally, all the other gangs in St. Louis would hijack those liquor trucks as they were coming towards St. Louis.
Jesus.
In the eastern Illinois suburbs. But yeah, moonshine was definitely a big commodity in the illegal alcohol market in St. Louis.
We got another question from one of our viewers, Danny. Dan, he asked, why do you think St. Louis gets overshadowed by cities like Chicago and Al Capone in terms of gangsters, crimes of the 20s and 30s?
Mostly it's because of name recognition. I mean, you see the name Al Capone, or you see the names of some guys from New York like Luciano, Lansky, and Genovese or whatever. People are naturally going to focus on them. I mean, even back in the 20s, what happened in Chicago took the eye. I mean, gangland hits that took place in Chicago almost always made the newspapers in St. Louis or Kansas City and elsewhere. And as a result, because St. Louis was a smaller city, it just got lost in the shuffle. Nobody on the national news network, nobody really paid attention to them, and as a result, a lot of those stories were not really researched in depth or preserved.
Okay.
What's your question, Stu?
So my question was, because there's multiple gangs in St. Louis, And you always know when there's gangs, there's dirty cops. How were they able to actually deal with police and getting away with the stuff that they were doing?
A lot of times, if I've heard it correctly, they spread money around like with the police in order to get away. Even though the city of St. Louis had a pretty hard-ass detective squad that was on it. I mean, at one point they brought an armored car and they brought Thompson submachine guns as early as 1921. But for organized crime to flourish, there has to be at least a little money spread around in the quote-unquote upper world, which is the police and the judges and whatnot, for them to get away with what they're doing for as long as they do.
And didn't a lot of these guys, Daniel, didn't they go on to be politicians or have like higher up connections even after they weren't, gangsters and all that kind of stuff?
It's called the union.
One St. Louis one Missouri state senator that got his start in the Egan gang by the name of Michael Kinney. His older brother, Thomas Kinney, a.k.a. Snake, was one of the founders of the Egan's Rats back in the day. Michael eventually moved himself out of the street gang business and focused strictly on legislature. In fact, to the point where, members of the Egan gang actually got so pissed off at him, they tried to assassinate him in 1924 and failed. Oh, wow. But he served as a state senator right up until he passed away in 1971 for 50-something odd years. But he's the only one I can think of off the top of my head that genuinely went into a career in politics after.
Nice.
You know, what I got to say is, damn, it feels good to be a gangster. All right.
The Ghetto Boys agree.
So Daniel, I mean, I think we have to agree with you when you said that everybody has a story to tell. Am I right?
Right on.
There you go. All right. Hey, man, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam.
Do you have any other projects? Do you have any other projects coming up? I know you had Off Color, which is all about the Detroit Mafia. You got another book coming up. What other books do you have? Other projects?
Yeah, I got Off Color, which is about the Purple Gang, which is probably the most badass nickname out of them all. And then this new one I got coming out in a couple of months, by about March or April, is called Vanita, The Birth of the Detroit Mafia. It's about the very early years of the Detroit family in both Sicily and in Detroit here.
Damn.
Think the flashback scenes of Godfather 2 on steroids. That's essentially what it is.
Whoa.
All right, and you guys can any viewers out there, you guys can check Daniel out on Amazon. Daniel Waugh, Waugh. Daniel, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you,
for
Daniel.
having me on.
Hey, no problem, man. We will talk to you later, okay?
All right.
Keep watching.
Will do.
All right.
Thanks, Daniel.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so that was Daniel Waugh. He is the St. Louis historian who pretty much is recovering all this crazy fucking shit that went on in the 20s and 30s St. Louis gangs back in the day.
That's pretty cool stuff, though.
It's all
learn
interesting.
about.
It's all interesting that it happened here.
Yeah.
Because when you look at St. Louis, you got, pockets of the city that are pretty bad, but this shit took it took place over all of it. So,
But you don't hear that history anymore.
No.
That doesn't go on.
No.
So it's kind of cool to learn that stuff and hear about it.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
People, right now, we are live. Going Dutch Radio Network. Mayhem Mondays podcast right now. Please comment, and you better call in.
Speaking of another gangster.
You really want me to plug right
Yeah,
now?
plug
oh, my
it.
God.
Plug it. Speaking of
Do
another
it.
gangster.
This is a shout out to our sponsor, Kevin Sigalito with the Sigalito Insurance Group, for a free quote on auto insurance, life insurance, and any kind of insurance for that matter. Call our buddy Kevin at 314-368-7007. He is the all-around American guy, and he will help
007.
you out.
God, he's such an American. Too.
No.
He puts go ahead.
He puts the can in American.
He does. People, once again, that's
we love you, Kevin.
That is Kevin Sigalito with the Kevin Sigalito Insurance Group. Wow, he puts first name and last name in that insurance group. Once again, call him 314-368-7007. Give him a call. Give him a chance.
And he's a gangster. He really is. He'll help you out.
Damn, it feels good.
You want him on your side.
All right, guys, so we just had Daniel Waugh on, the St. Louis historian. So what other segments do we have left for the show? Give the viewers a little taste, Sam, of what the fuck is
What's
going
going
down.
on, Sam?
Well, we have Stewie versus Sam coming up. So
What's that?
everybody,
What is
stay
it?
tuned. They got to stay tuned. It's got to do with Sam, Stewie, and a carton of eggs. But then, yeah, man. Oh, and we're gonna have music by Pono AM coming up in a little bit. But here's the thing: you know that they want to kick Apu off the fucking Simpsons.
You've been saying
who?
this, man.
Apu.
You've been saying it.
They want to kick him off the Simpsons. And shout out to our buddy Tony Beeman, who was the one that did the cartoon of all of us. Not you, Stewie.
Yeah. Screw you, Tony. Still waiting.
But Tony brought this up, and he said, you know, we were out drinking one night, and he said, you know, they want to kick Apu off the Simpsons. And I was like, who? He goes, they. So he didn't really, he just told me about it, and I was researching it, and it is this whole big thing, and it goes into like social justice warriors and political correctness, and I was like, this is bullshit. There's got to be more to the story.
So right now, guys, we're talking about Apu, the Indian/Middle Eastern guy that people know of on The Simpsons, who has been on The Simpsons since 1990.
Since it started, right?
Yeah, since I think 1990. I don't know how long Simpsons been out.
1990, February 25th, 1990. That is when
Jesus.
Apu Nahasa Pima Petalon, that's his last name. Okay. It took me a little bit to learn how to pronounce that.
Did you practice?
I did.
Okay.
But
okay.
He's been on since February 25th, 1990 as a reoccurring character on The Simpsons. Pretty main character.
Does he have a wife and kids?
Yeah, oh yeah. He is the owner of the Quickie Mart.
Oh my God, that's stereotypical.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, I know, right? To say that somebody... But he's an Indian immigrant. He runs the store with his brother Sanjay. So the other guy that you see, that's his brother Sanjay.
I forgot about
he has
Sanjay.
a wife named Manjula, and he has
pictures
8
of
children.
Sanjay?
Nah. But so he is voiced by Hank Azaria, a white guy who has voiced around almost 400 characters on The Simpsons. 20 to 30 of those have been reoccurring. He's noted for Apu. He's noted for Mo, Chief Wiggum, Cletus, Carl. I mean, he was on Friends. He was like Phoebe's
fuck buddy.
Yeah, on Friends. He's been in other things like Ray Donovan. He won an Emmy for Ray Donovan. But yeah, he voices it. He's white, but apparently that's wrong. But Apu's famous catchphrase, "Thank you, come again," has been immortalized. It's been immortalized in pop culture. And Hank Azaria said that he got that when they asked him to do Apu's voice. They wanted him to do an Indian store.
This guy right here that we're all looking at.
Yeah. Okay. And he said that he got the line, "Thank you, come again," from when he lived in, I want to say somewhere, I think in LA or somewhere in California. And when majority of the store convenience clerks were Pakistani and Indian, and they would say "Thank you, come again," and they would say it in this accent, and he wasn't making fun of it. He almost like paid homage to it. But there was a film documentary that was released, and it was entitled. It is titled "The Problem with Apu."
What's up with the problem?
Well, this comedian.
30
So
years
pull this up.
later.
This comedian Hari Kondabolu. Okay, and
fucking perfect photo.
he released his documentary, and it's called "The Problem with Apu," and he interviews celebrities out there. And that are of Indian descent, Indian heritage, and
Do they take offense to this?
Well, all the people that he interviewed, all the Indian people do.
They do.
They do take offense. In the documentary, he even interviewed Whoopi Goldberg. He even interviewed some people that had worked on The Simpsons. A majority of them all share his viewpoint, and his thesis is that Apu is an out-of-date stereotype with brown paint.
Give me a fucking break.
And a white man playing the voice. And so he released this documentary, went on, and then
oh God,
Simpsons released a response on an episode about it, and it was like Marge telling Lisa, I don't know usually like what went on, but this bush light's hitting me.
Okay,
like,
real quick.
It's
Hold on.
just a whole
Okay.
big thing.
So right now we're talking about Apu, the Indian guy from The Simpsons. He is going to be taken off the show because of political correctness.
We don't know officially if he's going to be taken off.
I mean,
yet.
we're going to build a wall and we're going to fucking kick Apu off the fucking Simpsons.
Yeah.
With that being said,
That wouldn't be Trump. I don't think Trump would say that.
I don't think Trump would say that.
I don't think so either.
But no, this guy Hari created the documentary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it went on, and it was
I'm trying to be
and then Adi Shankar,
who
Castlevania. I don't know if you've ever seen that show on Netflix. Apparently, he's a producer of that show.
Oh, is it like a cartoon?
I guess so. I don't know. But they were talking that Adi, they were going to bring him on to actually find a way to write Apu a different way. That's not as racist, because in the in the documentary, Hari says that Apu has no character development. He's just a stupid convenience store owner, which is bullshit because if you listen to any episode, Apu is very educated, even though he has his accent. He's very. I think he's a doctor in the show. You
got an accent. And you're educated,
right? Character development. You talk about character development. We've seen an episode where he gets married. We see an episode when he becomes a father. We see an episode where he struggles with should he still keep the Quickie Mart, and Springfield rallies behind him and says everybody needs a Quickie Mart. So we've seen all that. So it's bullshit. But then Adi Shankar said they're going to write him off. But Al Jean, who's actually and I think we have his tweet.
Is that this?
Al Jean, no.
Who's Al Jean?
Al Jean is an actual producer on The Simpsons, and he tweeted out that Adi Shankar he's a producer on The Simpsons, and he tweeted that Adi Shankar does not speak for The Simpsons and that they are not kicking Apu off, or he didn't say that they're not kicking. Adi Shankar is not a producer on The Simpsons. I wish him the very best, but he does not speak for our show. So it's kind of up in the air of what they're going to do with Apu.
Well, the problem is, here's what it is, people. All right, people. The problem is that there's going to be a lot of these extremists that think, okay, you got to kick them off. Political correctness. They're being these. What are they calling that? Political correctness.
Social justice warriors.
Thank you. So, and that's the thing. If they don't do it, now they're going to get flack for it. And then they're going to keep on doing it nonstop. They're going to, make them look like shit, The Simpsons, because of this. Here's the thing. Without any political correctness, there would be no comedy in the world. People have to make fun of people. That's what comedians do for a living. You can't make fun of people anymore if you get rid of political correctness.
Well, and the Simpsons it's a show based off of parody and satire.
Exactly.
The
show has been on for how long at this point now? He's been on the show for almost
since 1989, 30 years.
So you're saying that he's been on the show for almost 30 years, and now you have a problem with it?
Right. With that being said, we do have...
Take the tampon out of your vagina and get over it.
Oh my God.
I love it when she talks.
I'm just saying, like, seriously.
Oh my God.
Clean it out.
Drop that tampon
I
on
was
me.
thinking though, for real.
That's just
I was like,
bullshit.
at first when you told me this, I was like, man, Apu, I grew up with him. He's been on there the whole time. But then I was like, what if they had like a black character just eating watermelon just all throughout The Simpsons? How would I feel? How would I feel about that?
They have black stereotypes on there.
They do.
They have Italian stereotypes.
I haven't seen The Simpsons in a while. What's
Simpsons
going on? Who's
stereotypes.
Here's the thing.
Everybody.
Here's the thing. The Simpsons, exactly what
Carl.
Sam just said. The Simpsons
Dr.
stereotypes everybody. They stereotype white people. They stereotype fucking everybody. They don't.
It is a comedy too, as well.
Exactly.
Though. You gotta know.
Yeah. So I mean, so the question
Don't
is,
take it
should The
serious.
Simpsons give in to these social justice warriors?
Okay.
No, tell them to fucking go watch their Hulu shit and get out of it.
Yeah. Okay. With that being said, we do have a couple comments on Facebook. Scott Stevens says, "Keep Apu." Thank you, Scott. And once again, we didn't forget about your beef jerky. Okay. I just want to bring that up.
I'm still waiting on mine from years ago that was supposed to be sent
Scott
to me.
Stevens, who's a great fan of the show, he's going to be giving us some beef jerky, and we're going to taste it live on the show whenever he gives it to us. With that being said, he says, keep Apu on The Simpsons.
What do we say? Who else like Apu? Let's keep Apu.
Scott says Apu should open a restaurant. Okay.
That's
I like
why
it.
my aunt
Oh,
asked
my
me
God,
for my
that'd be-
address. I'm just saying, I just put two and two together. That is rude.
That is one of the quizzes actually on our egg challenge, so keep that up. 2 + 2, so keep it up. All right, so Aunt Tina says that's my Stewie, and Scott said Apu should run for mayor. People, right now, comment should
Apu stay on The Simpsons?
Please let us know.
This is weird because it's a point where it's like jokes, and then it's like people trying to like make you feel bad about your jokes.
Yeah.
Like whatever happened to Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
When you go back and like all the way through his tweets,
10 years
it's something
ago,
10
yeah.
years, and like people changed within 10
No
years.
shit.
And then like you know what? Comedians need to stop apologizing for that stuff.
And that's
like,
the thing. 10 years ago, it might have been
10
okay to say that, but now it's like all of a sudden, oh no, now it's not. Now it's not okay. We're gonna take this from the archive. We're gonna bring this video up, and we're gonna fucking exploit this guy for what? Why are they doing
Here's
this?
the funny thing. This Hari Kondabolu, who made the documentary, is a comedian, and he's been on Conan. And guess what? He makes fun of Indian culture. Yeah,
He's not
makes
very funny.
No, and so he did it, and then he went on, and I couldn't try to get it because we'll get flagged for it. But he went on the Daily Show or something like that, and this guy gave an interview with him, and he goes, "Can I be honest with you? The studio's not going to like it. I could give a shit about Apu."
Yeah, right.
Then why do you make the documentary, dumbass?
Exactly, dude.
So I think that this guy, this Hari Kandabulu, however you want to pronounce it, fucking, I think he just shit on this character, and I don't know if he did it because it was famous. I don't know if he seriously feels bad about Apu, but yeah.
My thing about, especially with jokes, we could take a break in a second, so you guys can take a piss break.
We're gonna pee in each other's mouths, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, cool. You guys
Okay,
gonna see
never
what you
mind.
guys do.
Well, at least now I know.
But no, yeah.
No, I'm saying so. People who get offended by jokes seem to only get offended by jokes that go towards them. Every other joke they laugh at. So if you can laugh at jokes like, all right, about somebody that's having like a bad baby, but when it gets around to you about your skin tone, you can't laugh. You don't think it's funny. Then it becomes too far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's
and then here's the thing, like, so comedy is comedy, and The Simpsons, they go after everybody.
Yeah.
I think comedy's no longer comedy if you say, that's allowed to be funny, that's not allowed to be funny, because comedy has always been offensive, you know? So yeah, it's just fucking. So Tyrese, so you really just no.
What
You
about
what?
want
to don't kick him off. Kick him off.
You know what? I haven't been watching The Simpsons in like 7 years. I don't really care that much, but I can see why it's like offensive. It's an old character. They probably just like, hey, this is not us.
Yeah,
and we don't want to be represented this way. But I keep them. I mean, but that's more for me and my childhood.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So you don't really have a personal connection with it.
I have
as
kind
far
of a
as like,
personal
hey, you grew up
with Apu because he's the character that I grew up with. So for me, I would like him on there. But like, I wouldn't care. Like, I don't watch The Simpsons anymore, so it doesn't really.
I still feel like it's our age demographic that's still watching it. And then older.
Yeah.
There's still now younger people watching it, but
they
want to change everything in life. Stop getting rid of the good things in life.
I haven't watched it in a while, and the thing is I watch Family Guy now more because I feel like Simpsons is actually more PG-13, whereas Family Guy is almost rated more R.
Yeah, but I feel like this. What if they killed Apu off? Then wouldn't it be an argument? It was like, where's your Indian character?
Yeah, okay.
And the Simpsons.
That makes
wouldn't
perfect
it be
sense.
wouldn't it be like an argument against that too as well? Like, I feel like it's just no winning with people who just get offended by cartoons and jokes.
Yeah.
It's just you can't satisfy them. So you know what? You might as well keep
no Indians on The Simpsons.
No Indians on The Simpsons. Huh?
No Indians
okay.
on The Simpsons.
I wish we were represented.
Yeah,
I represented. What?
Yeah, and there's talk about making him in a different light. But I mean, seriously, he represents the hardworking immigrant. He owns his own business and all that crap.
All right, so we got it, man. CJ, you're back.
God.
So are we keeping Apu or are we getting rid of him? You have the power, CJ. Keep or get rid.
Here's the thing. I really want to keep Apu. Here's the thing. Without stereotypes, there's not culture. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? What's so funny?
She saw you come down the stairs when you went to the bathroom, and she's just laughing.
Did you see my little pee-pee? Okay,
Oh my God.
that's good. Thank God, because then I would have to leave.
No, so I mean,
Okay, we're talking about right now, live, right now. Going to Trinity Network Mayhem Mondays podcast. Please comment, call in.
I
got
see a
some-
lot of comments. What's going on with the comments?
We got some
What's up
comments
with
from
Apu?
so
Talk to
Aunt
me,
Tina
baby.
said snowflakers. Yeah, Aaron says keep Apu.
Keep
Tony says fuck yes to keeping Apu. Naomi says keep Apu.
Keep him.
Aunt Tina says comedy is becoming the NFL. Tony says
What?
Sam, do we get offended by the Italian jokes
Too many rules.
about family? No, LOL.
okay.
So, yeah, you know it's double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those
Yeah.
things.
So it doesn't
I think
affect
majority
me.
people.
With that being said, so we were talking about right now, we're still talking about, political correctness and why he is getting kicked off. I want to bring up some fucking unbelievably ridiculous,
Go.
politically incorrect or correct shit that
Hit
is
us
going
with it.
on live
Hold on, before we do that,
in the United States.
Wait, we
talk
just
to,
got all pumped. We just got all pumped
before
for what
we do
he's
that,
gonna
let's
do.
Let's talk to Ankit, our friend Ankit.
Who's our kid? Who's our kid?
So freaking.
Don't tell him. This is not my friend. Why you always just saying he's everybody's friend? I don't know.
Well, he's my
our friend.
Oh, he's your guys' friends. Okay.
Sam, you know, remember how Tyrese said like he has a lot of friends, and you're like, I've never met him yet. Well, that's because
the reason why.
It's his friend. That's
this
why
is
it's
the
not
reason
your friend.
Why. Exactly.
There we
So
go.
Quilly award-winning author Ankit Shukla reached out to the show about this issue.
Oh,
I mean,
so we're gonna be speaking.
and he has he's actually written a book which serves as a rebuttal to Hari Kondabolu's view of the problem with Apu.
Ooh.
And Ankit's book is titled "I Love You, Apu."
You too.
So we're gonna call him because we got some questions for him, and he's actually Indian.
So if anyone who can't understand Sam, Sam Jive, what he just said is we're gonna call somebody who actually reached out to us because we said save Apu on our live event, right? Well,
Yes,
this guy
we did.
literally wrote an entire book on why. What again? Why Apu should?
Why Apu should stay, man?
Why Apu should stay?
Let's call
This
him.
guy
Why are we talking
literally-
about it?
This
Let's
guy,
call him.
we're talking about this guy fucking
getting
wrote a
hyped.
book.
And he's an Eastern Indian American,
505.
and he was a nurse. He is a nurse. He's like a traveling nurse. He's a life coach. He's won the Quilly Award.
A life coach.
What's the-
He's
what's that
it's
award?
like it's a award for authors. I really don't know. But he travels around the country. He's met some famous people. He's written tons of books.
Well, he just met us.
Yeah, I mean he's so cool. And I just had a conversation with him today. He's down to earth guy.
Right now, people, we're witnessing the author who wrote on Apu from The Simpsons. You're live. Who is this?
We know who. We
know
him.
who it is. We call him.
him.
What's up, Ankit? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing
Good. Hey, Ankit, man. So you wrote this book on Apu. First of all, give us your background. You're an Indian American. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, sure. My parents came here when I was only a year old. Wanted a better life for us. We moved to Nevada. School there. Went to nursing school there. And then after school, I left and started traveling the country, basically. And eventually I always had an interest in writing, and eventually I authored a lot of books. And basically here we are. I was working. Food controversy broke out, and I wanted to give my own viewpoint on the whole situation. So I actually reached out to Hari, who made the documentary criticizing Apu. I reached out to him via Twitter, sent him a direct message, and he didn't respond. He just blocked me, and I can no longer send him direct messages via Twitter.
Oh.
I don't know. So basically I said, okay, well, I have my own platform. I'm a writer, and I can publish a book about the whole situation. So that's what I did. I went through the documentary. I talked about why I disagree with it, and the result of that was I Love You, Apu, the book that is a total rebuttal to that documentary from Hari.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah,
I can't, right? Is that the name? I'm sorry.
Ankit, yes.
This is Tyrese. What is the main point? So, like, you're for Apu. What are some of the main points that's like, hey, Apu should stay? Like, you're not hurt by Apu being on The Simpsons. Just give us some of the main points in the book.
Sure. One of the points, and I think you guys mentioned this already, was that in essence, he's a well-developed character, and he's actually a positive stereotype for Indian people. He's hardworking, he's educated, he's an engineer that has a doctorate from India.
So this is all based on the Simpsons show. So they built him up to have all these characteristics and all these.
Yes.
Okay, I got you. Okay, sorry. Go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. So yeah, he's smart. He's educated. He owns his own business. Eventually,
He's hot.
He has a family, a wife, and several kids. He turns out to be a very good family man. He's always been a good friend of The Simpsons. He's a very beloved member of the community.
Mm-hmm. He's a good role model. He's just a good role model overall. Yeah,
Definitely.
Exactly. And he's got a heavy accent. There are certain things about the Indian culture, including with Apu, that The Simpsons do make fun of in a lighthearted way. Mm-hmm. And, there's nothing wrong with that. If you look at his character throughout the years, and of course you have to watch multiple episodes to really get a full understanding of it. You understand that he is a very positive character on the show, and certain aspects of the Indian culture do hold true, even though they're exaggerated to a certain degree. But that's one of the points I make.
So
on the fact that.
So I'm sorry, Kit. I mean, one of your chapters, you mentioned the accent. One of your chapters in your book, it's a whole chapter on, and you entitled it "Racist for an Accent?" ? I mean, how is tell us as an Indian American, tell us how Simpson's doing Apu's accent, a white guy doing Apu's accent, an Indian accent, is not racist.
It's basically not, because it's done in a lighthearted fashion, I believe. It's if Apu did not have an accent, he would not be as strong of a character. I think that accent that they give him kind of puts an exclamation point on the character and really puts it over the top in a way that makes it funny, that makes him a funny character. And like I said, I don't think they do it really in a way that's upset. They do it in a light-hearted, humorous manner, just like they do with everybody else.
Yeah.
Give is Groundskeeper Willie. He's just like with Apu. He's kind of a stereotypical Scotsman with a thick accent and all these other qualities that a lot of people may associate Scotsmen with. But at the same, it's just. It's just overall, I don't, just because it's done in a lighthearted manner, it's humorous, and it's really needed for the comedic effect of the character. I don't think there's anything racist about it, and I don't think the fact that there yet, white person.
Well, I tell you,
the accent makes it any more racist. Yeah.
Okay, so can we explain what things do people have looking forward to looking you up? So you said you have, how many books do you have out currently?
I have 4.
You got 4 books. Okay,
show them the one that we were looking at.
So we do have the first one, which is at least the first one on your website. Don't live the good life, live the better life. Can you explain to me, just in a small synopsis, what this book is exactly about?
Sure, it's a positive motivational book. It just talks about just my idea of living a better life, which essentially means not settling for good and always going for better, not limiting yourself to, good, because good has limitations. Better is essentially limitless, and that's what I try to get across.
So you're also an author, you're a life coach, you're a traveling nurse. Crossing the bedside, live a better life, all these things, and people can find you on kitchukla.org. And your new book, I Love You, Apu, is basically saying how Apu is a great character, positive role model for the Indian community. And so on Kit, we spoke on the phone earlier, you and I, and you have it down. So I wish the guy that made this documentary would have reached out to you and actually wanted to debate you, because he did not have anybody on his documentary that almost had the pot like an Indian American like on Kit, who is willing to say, no, I disagree with you.
So he probably went for everybody that was against it and was like, I just want to show the bad instead of the good.
Oh, he was definitely pushing an agenda. Okay. Definitely. But on Kit, last question, man, and then we'll let you go. Mel Brooks once said, society's stupidly politically correct sensibilities will lead to the death of comedy. Do you agree?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Sam? I'm sorry, I had some background noise going on.
No, all right. So Mel Brooks said, society's stupidly politically correct sensibilities, so political correctness, will lead to the death of comedy. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And, the part of comedy is, a big portion of comedy is stereotyping people, and those stereotypes are a kernel of truth to them. That's what makes them funny. Yeah, I absolutely believe that political correctness will lead to the death of comedy, or at least a big portion of it, because to a degree we have to learn to laugh at ourselves. We have to learn to be able to laugh at other people in a lighthearted way. Mind you, there's a big difference between lighthearted
Good
comedy
answer.
and mocking and putting someone down. So yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
It's a
statement.
great answer
Good
on
answer.
Kit. Great answer. Hey, thanks, bud. We'll give you a shout out here. We'll have your website. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
All
Everyone.
right. We'll talk to you. Thank you so much.
Have a good night, buddy. All right, so that was what was the name again? I can't pronounce it.
On Kit Shoe Club.
So it's come okay. Gotcha.
Yes, and we will have
Kits.
so on kittshukla.org, and we'll have it.
That was nice.
Yeah,
that
oh,
was
yeah.
nice. That, I turned off my mic again. Somebody-
No.
You could hear it in mine, so it's okay. You
no.
talk loud enough.
I was saying like that's nice. You know what I'm saying? Just hear like, hey,
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? We think Apu is a positive character, and like now that made me feel like, hey, if you laugh at every other character in The Simpsons,
Yeah.
Right.
If you think, hey, when they say the Italians and they're talking about their meatballs and they're talking about
Fucking
foods,
balls.
What the fuck?
and they're
I
they're
am
gang
so
monsters
offended.
or like whatever, and you're laughing at all this or comic book nerds or fat people,
Yeah.
but when it gets around to your culture, you're like, wow, you went too far. Then you're just like you're
Coward.
Just, you're,
Coward.
you're a
Yeah,
coward
you're a
because you're
coward.
laughing at everything else.
You have no
But,
humor
yeah.
in life.
Absolutely.
But there we
and you
go.
know, the funny thing, I wish he would debate this, Hari, because on Kit's such a down-to-earth guy, it's not going to be a debate. It's going to be a discussion. Whereas on Kit would just be like, well, okay, this is that. But apparently this guy blocked him on
It's
Twitter.
probably because
so we'll never know.
it's probably because somebody of his own culture wanted to fight against it
Right.
or
Oh, yeah.
talk
Right.
about it,
So-
and it's just like, oh.
It's crazy.
Once again, here is his website, National Academy of the Best-Selling Authors. There he is, right there, people. He's a traveling nurse. He is
A life coach.
he's a life coach, people. There he is.
Hey, traveling nurse.
Once
Great
again-
job.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Pays a lot of money. Once again, his major book that he has out right now, Don't Live the Good Life, Live the Better Life.
Better
Anybody
Life, man.
who is live right now,
Wow.
we're live as well. Mayhem Mondays podcast on Going Dutch Radio Network. Please tune in. Don't tune out. We're going to be taking a, not even commercial break. We're still going to be on. We're going to play a couple songs, but we have to set up for the stage. What stage are you talking about, you might ask?
Stewie versus Sam.
We're doing a Sam versus
Dun, 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 dun.
So it's a Sam versus Stewie challenge. We're going to be doing the Russian egg challenge. We're going to be doing a quiz, and for every single whoever wins each question gets to smash an egg on the other person's head. Now, listen, I'm going to play the rules here in a second, but we have 12 eggs. 8 of them are hard-boiled. 4 of them are not. Okay.
So you could get a question right, pick an egg to smash on the other one's head, and it be hard boiled and not do anything.
Yes.
it'd be
Now, there's 4 of them that aren't. So we're going to see some egg smashing yolk all over
So
these
this isn't.
people's
So this
faces.
isn't. Really,
I like. Wait. Let's change the rules a little bit. Instead of the person picking up the egg and smashing it on the other person's heads,
Yeah.
you pick the egg, you smash it on your own head.
If you
And
lose.
so if you lose,
Stewie's shaking her head because she
Yeah,
wants to.
that's a little
she
bit-
wants to smash an egg
Oh.
on
Yeah.
my head. That's why. That's why she's shaking her head. She's like,
I
uh-uh.
didn't know about this.
We went
you know
through
what?
this before.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
never
we got
mind
it.
then.
We
We
got
thought
it.
it was just gonna be like, and then Cody changed it. on
Man,
us.
no, but we
Take it
got
back.
music.
Yeah.
We got music.
We do.
by Pono AM.
Yes, people.
Which is a local band in St. Louis that's making headway. And I just talked to Josh today. He's their front man. They're actually going to be on Monday, February 4th. So
Get
2
the
weeks from now.
fuck outta here.
We're having Pono AM on February 4th.
Once again, people, while we set up for our Stewie versus Sam challenge, check out the song Punching
He was
Bag
so excited.
by the local band, St. Louis band, Pono AM.
Pono AM.
They will be
I
on the
just wanted to be
podcast
excited
February
with
4th, so listen to a couple songs while we set up for the Russian Egg Roulette Challenge. Tune in.
Pono
We'll be right back in just a few minutes.
AM.
through the alley on my breakdown. Earthquake through the valley on my shakedown. I'm awake now, but nothing ever got me ready for the takedown. Late now, break down. Everybody wants a smile for the sake now. Integrity is at the bottom of a lake now, but you're awake now. And the pressure of the lesson cause a breakdown, takedown. Ooh, just a same old fool. Should've stayed in school. Learn a thing or two about being the real you. Hiding in the shadows, haunted by the sorrows, drowning in the shallows, no hope for tomorrow. Hey now, seems to be the theme of every day now. The very currency in which we get paid now. Go way down below the standard of learning a better way how to find a way out this fake town. Buried deep underground, escape not for your bound to the grave reservations of your hometown, grown town. Ooh, just a same old fool. Should've stayed in school. Learn a thing or two about being the real you. Hiding in the shadows, haunted by the sorrows, drowning in the shallows, no hope for tomorrow. Hiding in the shadows, haunted by the sorrows, drowning in the shallows, no hope for tomorrow.
This is going to be so much fun, people. We're back. Ooh, listen to this music. All right, guys.
Still playing the music. We can cut
Can't
down the
hear
music.
it.
Still have.
All right, so
What are we doing? I don't know
guys,
what to do.
we're back. We're live right now. Mayhem
Whoa,
Buddies
whoa,
podcast,
whoa.
Going Dutch Radio Network. So right now we do have our Sam versus Stewie showdown. Now, what this is, particularly, if you notice, they're kind of looking at each other. Sam's hard as a rock. I don't know why, but Sam's hard as a rock.
Oh my God! Hey, guys, calm the fuck
started it.
down.
She's the one
Keep it
started
in the
it.
fung ring. I want to see a nice,
fight
good
at the same time.
egg
So
fight,
guys, we do have some eggs right here. So here is the first,
Slap 'em again.
the first ever Sam versus Stewie showdown. There will be 12 eggs. Okay, there is 12 eggs total. 8 of them are hard boiled. 4 of them are nice and fresh and yolky, gooey.
Are we going through all
All
of them?
that gooey
Are we going
shit.
through all of them? Are we
We're gonna end up going through all of them, but first
Okay.
I have some questions, and whoever answers those correctly, whoever gets the closest to the correct answer, will let the loser smash an egg on their head. Now, the first person to smash 2 fresh eggs on their head
Wait,
loses.
to get two fresh eggs smashed on their head loses.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
That is
All right.
correct.
How many questions do you
So,
have? 12 questions.
so we have 12 questions. Hopefully they don't answer them correctly, both of them. Otherwise, I don't know what the fuck happens.
Then we both pick an egg. We do it at the same time.
Okay.
Yep.
Ooh.
There you
No, I'm gonna judge.
I like it.
It's gonna be one winner.
Hey, keep
I'm
on
a pick. I have no bias. It's okay, man. It's gonna be
keep
fun.
on talking for me just for a sec.
Okay.
It's gonna be fun.
Talk.
No, put it
Why
in.
are you
talking.
like? Why are you
Stop-
taking
stop
over the
moving the
microphone?
fucking
Yeah,
mic.
keep it
Because
there.
when we got it, can you hear us?
Yeah.
We don't have
He's gonna
headphones.
turn it
All
up.
right, we're good. We're good. Okay, you can leave it as is. It doesn't have
Leave
to be
it,
up
Sam.
and
Punch you
down.
in
Stop
the
touching
throat.
shit.
Really? I'm gonna smash an egg on you. Don't really punch me, Luke.
Guys.
Violent ass motherfucker.
Stop fighting.
Okay. All right, guys. Once again, this is the Russian egg challenge, the first Sam versus Stewie ever. So let's give him the eggs and let's start it.
You're so creepy.
Right?
Let's give him the eggs and
You
let's
have
start it.
headphones on.
Welcome
Remember-
to the lounge.
remember
We gotta
when we
get
had our
nice and
meeting?
dirty. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Sam versus CJ.
Yeah.
We had our
Fight.
Yeah.
meeting.
Dun, dun, dun. I'm sorry, I'm a little.
No,
Well,
get
no,
this shit
I was
close
gonna.
to me too.
No, so you can put the eggs so they can see which eggs we're
Aaron
picking.
says, "Here we go,
Motherfucker.
go Stewie." Wow, that's biased, Aaron. Come on, man. This is a game. It's equal
Aaron's no
opportunity.
longer my friend.
Yeah.
There's so much egg smelling shit right now.
Well,
It's so
Scott
bad.
says Stewie. Is everybody for Stewie here? Come on.
Oh yeah, everybody's always gonna be.
You know what I forgot? I forgot. You got to get a pen and piece of paper, otherwise you guys are gonna guess the same answer.
No, just do one and then the other. If I get one, yeah, that's fine. Or make some.
No.
Some of these are like literally impossible.
Grab.
No, fuck the pen and paper. Whoever yells out the right answer first.
No, just get a piece.
Fucking
There's
get
a
the
notebook right there.
Get the notebook with the pen.
Yeah.
Bitch, get the shit.
Fucking answer. Whoever yells it out first.
Just answer verbally. We're making this way too hard. I thought it was just gonna be we pick an egg and then boom,
first,
like rock paper scissors. But no, CJ had to make it into a fucking trivia game.
Let's go.
Oh, my bad.
First person.
I mean,
to yell out the
Haven't
right
we had
answer
enough
wins.
academia for today?
I don't
2
like
authors
trivia
that we've
shit.
interviewed.
I mean,
Let's
it was
just
gonna be
I like
good.
thinking
Let's
about
do rock paper scissors.
No,
just
yell out the
listen
fucking
to trivia
answer.
shit.
Yell out the answer. Go.
No,
First question.
this is what we're gonna do. People, hold tight. All I'm gonna do is get a pen and piece of paper from the upstairs of the.
There's
Green Room
literally a pen
Studios.
and piece of paper right there.
John says this is.
There is
what
literally a
Sam-
pen and piece of paper right there.
Listen to me. I'm trying to say some shit.
John,
John
yes,
says,
John.
This is what Sam meant by I'm smashing Stewie tonight. Hello. Good one, John.
John, I will
Why do you
literally
need the
beat
notebook?
you in the face. And then make you go clean shit out of a trash can. Yeah, I heard about it.
What are you doing?
What are you doing tonight, Sam? Smashing.
Yell out the answers. Whoever yells out the first answer
It's not
first.
gonna work. It's not gonna
It
work.
is. Let's go.
Because the chance of them getting half these answers correct is very slim to none.
We're getting close to the answer, apparently.
So then why do we have to write it down if it's slim to none?
Yeah, it's still going to be
Because
nine.
whoever's closest doesn't have to have an egg smash on their fucking head.
Closest. What is this,
We'll
math?
be right back after this break, apparently.
They both get it wrong. They get an egg smashed on
Where's
their
the
head.
other pen?
Just need
No,
one
cool.
pen. That's
Go,
fine. We
let's
just
go,
need one
let's
pen.
go. Watch,
Give a
watch,
pen.
Hey, we're
go.
going to dish this in
God.
a second. We're going to yell out the fucking answer.
This is why I want to take a real break.
No, that's fine.
Yell out the answer.
That's your piece of paper.
How am I supposed to write it down?
All right, so.
Because I'll give it to you.
This is solid.
All right, guys. Right now, this is the Russian egg challenge between
This is
Sam
a
and Stewie.
complicated Russian.
So I'm going to ask a series of questions. Whoever's the closest to being correct, the other person who lost that question now has to.
Whoever writes
Get an
down
egg
the
on the
answer
head.
Gets an egg on the head.
8 of them are hard-boiled, and they won't do anything. The other 4 are going to be smashed and egg yolk everywhere. Okay, is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The average human body contains how many pints of blood? Whoever gets the closest and how many pints of blood in the average human body
Say it.
wins.
Say it.
How many? What's your thing? How many? Just say
Say
it.
it. Just say it.
7.
7. Well, 7 what?
Pints of
Pints
blood.
of-
How many pints of blood are in the average human
7
body?
pints. What are you thinking? Just do one.
I'm gonna say 10. I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 10.
Okay, 10.
10. What's
And you said how many?
7.
All right, remember, whoever's closest technically
Right.
wins.
So tell us who's closest.
All right. The average human body contains
Right
9 pints of blood.
I like the way
So-
CJ had that.
First one.
She got some egg yolk on her head.
No, that's a foul on the play. Sam, you get to hit her with another egg.
Oh my god. That is.
Foul.
This shit, that went in my face in my
What was the
shoes.
Super Bowl?
We're cradling for a second.
No, hang in there.
Whoa, what's going on here?
Next question.
All right, guys. The Russian egg challenge. Stewie has already had out of the 12 eggs.
I
There
feel like you guys planned this shit.
We didn't
there
want
was
this.
only 4
I'm
eggs.
sorry that I am
I
smart.
can't see.
There's only 4 eggs that were fresh, and she
can't
already
see.
got the first one.
She already got the first egg.
Next question. Easy. All right,
All
guys.
right, calm it down.
This is driving me crazy. The
Now,
way you
Stewie.
get right.
Now,
It's
Stewie.
easy for you to say
What if Sam
fuckers.
gets all 4? I mean, what if Stewie gets all 4?
All
Come
right.
on, let's go.
All right, Stewie. Now this is really a question for you. This is probably this one's a lot easier for you, Stewie. Once again, whoever gets the next question wrong gets another egg on top of their head.
Come on,
Here
Sam.
we go, people. How many 12-ounce bottles of beer are in a standard keg, better known as a half barrel that you would see at a bar?
In a keg?
Yes, in one a standard keg, not a pony keg, not a half barrel, which is like a normal full-size keg
I'll
at
say
a bar.
45.
How many?
45.
45.
You said in a what? I'm sorry.
In a half barrel, which is a full-size keg in most people's standards, how many 12-ounce bottles of
Full-time
beer
keg?
would fit?
That's gonna be at least 120.
Ooh, you a bartender too? Yeah, you should be getting this right. What's
There
it?
is officially 124 beers in a keg.
Damn, I'm getting some small
So that means Sam gets an egg smashed on his head.
I don't
You
like
pick. Oh! God, it got on the wall. And she rubbed it in on
God
the
damn,
glasses.
people.
Sam, you
God
just
damn.
got a haircut. What the?
Do these sheets?
So gooey.
That is so hot.
Ah, my God, it's like semen.
What the hell? How are you guys? How are you guys picking these? All right, once again, real quick. There's out of the 12 eggs, only eight of them are hard boiled, which aren't gonna crack. The first 2 eggs they already picked are fucking fresh and
Just a fucking update. CJ put the hard-boiled eggs by the regular eggs right in the refrigerator, so it might be the wrong
didn't
canister.
look as disgusting when I saw it on Jimmy Fallon. I just want you to know.
Next question, guys.
Next
question. Let's do this. Let's keep going.
All right, everyone, be quiet. Shh.
Let's keep it going, guys.
So if the moon. If the moon is waning like a waning gibbous or a waning crescent, does that mean the moon is appearing to get larger or smaller? Stewie first.
Smaller.
What?
Sam.
I was gonna say smaller because
Well, you both can say
Yeah, we can both
say
Yeah,
small.
and
That's
then we
why I
have to
say
do two.
whoever says it first.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a race.
was like
Nobody
waiting
ever
for it.
listens to Tyrese.
Is it getting smaller? Yes or no?
It is getting smaller.
All right, so you pick one, I pick one. It's a tie.
Oh shit! I think. Is that?
Okay, ready? You wanna do me first?
No, just do it.
You want me to
first.
Should have took
No,
the
just-
shades off.
Oh!
It said,
All right, they're a little more hard boiled than usual. I'm sorry.
tossed it.
I do like.
Was that a rock? CJ just
All right,
called.
here.
My bad.
Oh! God, there's one more
How
left.
did you get so lucky?
Well, technically in the game, guys, Sam lost. But let's see who gets that last egg.
Yeah.
Let's just
Yeah,
keep,
let's going.
guys.
Okay.
No!
Next question.
Let's see if he ties.
The first one to answer wins this next question. With that being said,
Stop! You can't cheat or cheat.
no, dude, Sam, why are you cheating, dude? You're totally cheating. You can't pick what eggs you want to pick. You
Can't
can tell the
smell
difference.
them either.
And who is doing my laundry later? That's what I want to look at those sheets, people. Looks like giant cum stains.
Your choice.
All right, my bad. All right. With that being said, the first person to answer this wins. Well, at least if they answer it correctly. A Major League Baseball team consists of how many players when playing defense on the field? How many players total on that team is on the field?
1, 2, 3.
9.
She got it for 9. She fucking got it for 9.
This is 3 outfielders.
Yes.
Four.
So three outfield, 1 shortstop, first, second, third. You have your pitcher and your catcher.
And your catcher.
That's 9.
You forgot about the catcher, didn't you?
Oh.
You about to catch these eggs, motherfucker. Hit him.
From 9 for the batter.
Hit him.
Oh.
Because you said defense.
Yeah,
but-
defense.
Might be like
Hit
a
'em.
hard one though.
All right, let's not
It
spend.
might be a hard one.
Tina said 11. You were
Oh my God!
God.
Jesus Christ, people.
Shit. That is it. That is the game,
That is
guys.
excellent.
Oh my God, that is.
You know what?
Get some more egg puns. I don't have any more.
Hold on. Can
That
I be a
is-
good sport about this?
Yes.
Can I be a good sport about this?
Let's not get egg everywhere.
You won.
That is
Give me a
sunny
hug.
side up, guys.
You stay there. You stay there.
Oh my God, well you heard it here first.
Jesus Christ, people.
CJ.
All right, play us out. I gotta
Other
shower.
games. That was hilarious.
All
for
right,
me.
guys. To play us out is once again Pono
I almost
AM.
would eat this, but I'm not.
Once again, the artist from the artist named Pono AM, who will be on the show February 4th. He will be on Mayhem Mondays podcast, Going Dutch Radio Network, February 4th,
Excellent.
the day after
We said
the
excellent,
Super Bowl.
Naomi.
Now, once again, you're wondering why. Why does Sam and Stewie have egg all over them?
More hens.
You're not wondering.
That is because they just did the Russian egg roulette challenge, and they both kind of lost, or they both won.
I won.
Sam
Did
is
ya?
all scrambled. I'm just thinking about egg puns. I can't help it. Naomi says excellent, but we already
What are
said
you
that,
doing?
Naomi. Come on,
Okay,
give it the
guys.
time.
Any final comments before we end the show? Anything?
No, I'm fine.
You sure? Yeah, you sure you don't want to say anything?
On point. I also beat Sam.
All right. We got some cleanup
Dewey
to do.
1, Sam 0.
You all
What
out of
up?
yolks? I'm sorry, guys.
It was pretty good, Tyrese.
Yeah, thank you.
Pretty good.
All right.
Any final thoughts? Anything? That's it.
No final thoughts. Thank you for watching, Sam. Damn, that was hella funny.
Oh, come on.
And we're out. Yeah. Stay tuned, guys.
Is that good
Close
for the
off.
beard, or is that? Oh, Jesus.
Shit.
Damn it.
Oh,
All right, let's end it. Let's end it.
All right. With that being said, as always, thank you for watching this Mayhem Mondays podcast, the best podcast in St. Louis. To play us out is Pono AM with their song Creator. Once again, this song Creator going to Radio Network. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys next week. This is Mayhem Mondays podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night.
Scoot this one.